Abend. Guten Abend, viele Leute.
Oh, it was good. It is in the evening where the show is shown.
Oh, that's
very good.
Not
very
too
professional.
early. Yeah.
And so, as we are sitting in a thing like this, how do you call it? Aquarium?
Aquarium, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you still into this sea animal stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, they've been around a lot longer than we have. And
yeah.
science teaches us that we're all descended from the sea bream.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, 8 million years ago, there was something like that which got stuck on a puddle in Java and had to learn to walk.
Yeah.
And then it lost its stripes and it went up the tree and got hairy.
Yeah.
And then it was fine till it discovered religion and eating meat, and then
television.
And then television, and that was it. Yeah, yeah.
And because I once read something about you that you're so fed up of people throwing lobsters on stage, and you didn't want to talk about this sea stuff anymore. So,
no, it's a bit distorted. What happened was once I was singing a song called Where Are the Prawns, which is actually a song from the Soft Boys days.
Yes.
And I was just getting up to the chorus of Where Are the Prawns, and this gig in London, and this bag of frozen prawns burst against my chest.
Yeah.
You know, like in The Alien, when the alien comes through John Hurt's body, like that. Well, I couldn't tell whether it was coming out of me or as it hit me. There was just this explosion of frozen prawns. Anyway, 10 years later, I'm back in a dressing room in Madrid, and these 3 English guys walk in and say, "We done it, Gov. We threw them prawns at you." So, like I said, it'll turn up in Spain later.
Yeah, so we have to talk about the Soft Boys, of
Good.
course.
Okay.
They're back again.
Yes, so
and
we've seen,
it's
yeah.
unbelievably super for me, because I never had the chance to see the Soft Boys, because I'm 23 now.
I think you were just about
One-ish,
breathing
two-ish.
when we packed it in. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's brilliant for me.
You wouldn't have been our
back
target
again.
audience.
Yes,
no.
exactly. But one thing I know about you is that you always hated, how do you call it, cliches. You tried to avoid things like that.
If it was possible, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
but now, is it a funny feeling for you, the reunion of the Soft Boys? Must be strange.
Well, it's strange because suddenly we're playing the same songs from 20 years ago in the same room. But when you look in the mirror on the wall, we're all 20 years older.
Yeah.
It's as if an enchantress has put us in a trance, and we've just woken up 20 years later, we're playing the same song.
It's still there.
Still there, chugging with the same studio, smelling of fungus.
Yeah.
Rocking away, but a bit quieter, you know. I've
Yeah.
noticed we got a bit quieter in 20 years.
Yeah, and there's one thing I found, a quote of yours, where you said you couldn't really identify with all of the Soft Boys' lyrics today. What will you do?
I wrote them all.
Yeah, no, but you said you can't sort of really relate to some of them because you've obviously changed.
I probably won't sing the bad ones.
You'll just leave them away, you won't change lyrics.
Well, fortunately, the record that's been re-released, Underwater Moonlight, had a good set of lyrics. But there's some pretty dodgy stuff on some of the other records which I'm not going to have to dip into. So,
yeah, okay.
No, we should be all right.
Okay, so you just won't play it?
I don't think there'll be any. No. I mean, I might forget some.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, and lots of stuff. It's unbelievable. How much it is.
There was a lot of every.
Songs,
yeah, there were billions. Yeah, billions.
That would be even difficult for people just to learn it off by heart. That would be really exhausting.
Yeah.
I would say.
I don't need the auto cue yet, but you never know. You know, you think you remember things, and then maybe you don't.
Yeah.
I think I remember it all, but maybe it's not what I thought it was.
You haven't tested it yet.
We've tested a lot of it. We've tested big sections in this in the rehearsal room, in the vaults under the arches in Waterloo, where the fungus grows.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this, but without any fish tanks.
Yeah.
And with fungus and without a camera crew.
Oh, okay. And without light or
without light? No, there's light.
Oh,
there's light, so you can see exactly how old you are. You know, you can check it in all its diabolical beauty.
Yeah.
But no, we've remembered big sections of the songs, and we're going to sort of stick it together like a train next week, and then take it to the States.
Brilliant. And I know that you're a very good, how do you call it, mimer of people. You can mime people.
Mime people? Mimic them.
Mimic, yes, exactly. Mimic,
imitate them, yeah.
Is it a bit like miming the 1980 Robyn Hitchcock for you today?
Yeah. It is, and that's a very good point. My voice has changed, and I'm also about 3 stone heavier. So that thing about being a young actor squeezed into an old actor squeezed into a corset to play Hamlet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like an old actor squeezed into a corset to play Ophelia, Hamlet's girlfriend. It's really, it's very odd actually.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not that old as for politicians or writers or newsreaders or something. You know, we can still walk around and we're active, but we're incredibly old compared to what we were.
Yeah.
And I see the photographs of us, I just don't recognise them. I think, who's that gorgeous young animal? And it's Matthew, the bass player. You know.
Yes.
Matthew was beautiful, and you know, Maurice and Kim, they were cute.
Did you realise back then that he's so beautiful?
No, I thought he had nice hair, you know. I mean, even I look quite good.
Quite is a bit understated.
And we were, you know, if I got hold of the soft boys then, I would have just made us all model or something like that. Anyway, I'm glad we didn't. We weren't very vain, you know. That era was the time of the dawn of new romantics and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of sort of people striking heroic poses and whatever. And you know, we didn't. We were just these... we just got on with playing, but it didn't occur to us that we looked any good.
Yeah.
You know, but now today we're being filmed in a darkened room and it's great.
You know, people are terrible. People who know that they look good and have been told it quite often.
Oh, because
behave that way, and it's sort of really... there are lots of pretty people, they don't know that they're pretty.
Maybe it's best not to know. Well, we didn't know we were pretty till it was all over, you know.
There's this, that would interest you, I think. There's this, I once met a gypsy girl, and she said they've got a tradition that when you've got really pretty teeth when you're young, and 10 people tell you you've got really pretty teeth, that is the first thing that's going to look ugly when you get older. So
that's pretty
shrewd. You have
shrewd.
to try and get no compliments so that it stays pretty.
Oh, we didn't get any compliments at all.
Oh, good. So that's why you're still pretty.
Nobody could see us. But, oh, wow. No, that's a really interesting...
Yeah, I thought that's a really good tradition.
Have you seen Gajo Dillo?
No.
It means... It's about the gypsy community in... Wow, I guess it's Bulgaria or something.
Yeah.
This young guy from France goes to check out his origins in a gypsy... A gajo means a non-gypsy. It's like, you know, not part of the tribe.
Oh, okay.
It means crazy foreigner, basically. And this guy experiences life in the gypsy community.
Yeah.
But, no, I'd recommend that.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Just anyway, I'll watch out for the teeth.
Yes, yes, and don't give too many compliments to people. That's I'm stopping it.
No, I didn't really give any out. Didn't get any. No, it's pretty dismal either way.
Along. Never.
Probably didn't want to hear them, is the truth.
Yes.
If people said, you know, you've got a nice nose, Sonny, I probably just said, naff off. Yes, don't. Yes.
Yes. And I'd like to talk about the soft boys again. There's one big difference for me between the soft boys and Robyn Hitchcock solo stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, to me, the soft boys sounded very much more male, and Robyn Hitchcock solo stuff has got a very strong female side to it. Would you agree to that?
Well, it might be because the soft boys had more guitar, it was more guitar-based, and so it just had a more kind of testosterone sound.
And because there were more men, maybe?
Actually, the later stuff was mostly with men. I haven't worked with many women, but it's probably got softer.
Yeah.
If that's the same as getting more female. I mean, I listened to the early... It's got less spiky, and it's probably got... We weren't conventionally macho, but there was probably, in our sort of weedy middle-class way, it probably was quite sort of bristling, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably got more... I'd like to think it's got more female, but I don't know. No one said that before, so I'll have to check.
Yeah, but it's meant as a compliment, really.
I'm deeply touched. No.
Thank you.
No, that's nice. No.
I think...
No, my girlfriend likes my voice, but that's good. But nobody else has said anything, so it won't go wrong yet.
Oh, I was thinking about that, because nobody ever tells me I'm pretty except of my boyfriend. Maybe that's why he's my boyfriend.
Well, don't let him tell you more than 9 times.
Yes, exactly. Just so
get him to hold up a card or something like that, you know.
I hate you. Yeah. We'll make a break and then we'll be back. with Robyn Hitchcock in the aquarium.
Wow.
Can you see them?
I can see the fish. I can't see what's in there.
They're naked in front of the television.
Who are naked? The fish?
The viewers.
Oh my God, are they?
Yeah. Put your trousers back on.
They're all watching nude. Ah! Cover my face, oh Lord. Well, in that case, I'll shame them with a picture.
Yes, make a photo of them.
All right, you nudes.
Yeah. That'll be a really boring picture now.
It depends how you interpret it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It'll remind you of this.
It will remind me of this until I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Hi, is my hair all right? Okay, let's go. Darling, you don't have to call me starling, or even Mao Zedong, 'cause I'm far too young. My rising sign is Capricorn, is that surprising? You know that I was born so very soft and easy going. I make no trouble at all. I was listening, yeah, I was listening to the devil's radio. I was listening, yeah, I was listening to the devil's radio. And it went na 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 on the devil's radio. Evil, its tentacles are blind, it's like a weevil. It burrows through the land and everybody smiles, everybody smiles. Michael, don't you know someday a spike'll grow right through the woodwork and come out through your palm? We was listening, we was listening to the devil's radio. We was listening, yeah, we was listening to the devil's radio. And it went na 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 on the devil's radio. Sunsets on the devil. Sunsets on the west. He's listening to the FM talk show. It's what he loves the best. Limbo, he was talking through a bimbo. But don't touch that dial or that hateful smile. Kate said the flowers of intolerance and hatred are blooming kind of early this year. Someone's been watering them. We was listening, we was listening to the devil's radio. We was listening, yeah, we was listening to the devil's radio. And and it went na 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 na. I'm not the devil's radio. And I said na 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 na. You're the devil's radio.
Mit dem wundervollen Robyn Hitchcock. Now that the soft boys are coming back, do you feel a bit bitter about people? Because now everybody's sort of going, way, the soft boys are back, and freaking out. And sort of back then, you sort of sometimes had to really struggle.
No, I'm really glad that people are getting it this time around, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't suppose they're getting it in their millions, but that's not really the point. The idea is that what we did was good enough to last, and 21 years later, we can come creaking out and perform the same songs. We're certainly playing bigger places than we did in our lifetime, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I just saw the British itinerary, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice it sort of vindicated us.
Yeah.
There's not really much point being bitter.
Yeah.
You know, nobody likes angry people.
No.
Angry people just get angrier and they drive everybody away.
That's true.
I'm just glad we're all alive and still able to play together.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody enjoys it, including us.
Yeah. And there are lots of bands that say you had a great influence of them. That's why they started making music, or things like Flaming Lips or Pavement and bands like that. Can you relate to their music or find similar ideas?
Well, I think they all stand on their hind legs and play the guitar.
Yes, well.
I'm not sure whether we listen to whether we actually influence people, or whether we just they all listened to the same people that we did. I think the Soft Boys was a kind of corridor between the 60s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And in kind of rock journalist terms, we're probably the missing link between the Byrds and REM, if you like, in terms of that sound.
Yes.
People like the Lips have got a more keyboard-driven sound.
Yeah.
Pavement would be more, I could see that, the guitars and things.
Yeah.
But a lot of American musicians did listen to Underwater Moonlight when they were growing up.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just appeared on their plate, you know.
Yeah.
It's like what they were given.
Yes, sort of what they heard,
yeah,
their friends, and that's how it somehow...
and I don't know who was responsible for that, but it obviously, you know, it cemented us in their heads in some ways. So.
Yeah. But it is sort of somehow, does it make you proud, or...?
Oh, yeah, I think it's great. It's really good to have been part of some kind of stream.
Yes.
And on the whole, the people that we may have influenced tend to produce, well, they're not bland, you know. Even REM got very big, but they never got bland.
Yes.
In fact, arguably, what they're doing now is their most experimental stuff they've ever done.
Yeah.
They're sort of, you know, giving Warner's stomach ulcers by handing them these albums that don't have any singles on, and saying, "Here you are,"
hello,
you know. And I know Peter Buck delights in this, you know.
Yeah.
And they're in this rare position. They've got the power to do that. They will keep their record deal. They'll still get, you know, 10, 15,000 people into a show.
Yeah.
I think that's great, you know.
Yeah.
Fair play to them. They're the most extreme example of that movement. But I guess we were just a precursor of that era, or like I said, we were the kind of funnel corridor between the 60s and the 80s.
Yeah. And, when you go on tour now with the Soft Boys, are you going to also play a solo stuff of yours?
Oh no,
Mix it within?
It's my career is now such a long building.
Yeah.
But if I look out the top, I can't see the pavement down below.
And
you know,
the people.
I can't see
even
my
see the ants.
I can't even see the. Well, I can't see my own ants. That sounds kind of indecent, but I can't see your ants, Gov.
Oh,
but is that one of mine?
Sleazy person.
But this is a sleazy guy who sees his own ants. But the ant-seeing types. No, I think the Soft Boys were just going to try and play. You know, this isn't even a Soft Boys retrospective. It's an Underwater Moonlight show.
Yeah.
So it's based on what we were playing in 1980.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll slip a few later things in. But my career is now too long for me to be able to do in 1.5 hour show, a whole...
To get it in with
Yeah, I did a Robyn Hitchcock retrospective tour in the States a couple of years ago, and I still was down to playing one song off each album. I would need to have multiple nights. I mean, yeah, you know, it gets a bit long-winded.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be selective. So this is basically going to be around. This will be the tour that we never did in America and Europe in '81. You know, we were scheduled to, but we just kind of ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Flopped dead on the beach. You know, we got as far as we were going to go, and that was it. So, you know, assuming we make it, and I'll believe it when it actually happens. I'm sitting on a lot of wood and I'm touching it all. You know, I'll believe it when we've done it.
Yeah. Okay, wir sehen uns gleich wieder mit Robyn Hitchcock underwater in the aquarium. Now, I always thought aquarium was wrong English, saying we're sitting in an aquarium.
Oh, yeah.
I thought meant we were sitting in a...
Oh, I see, in the actual tank.
Oh, tank. See, in German, aquarium is a tank.
Well, I think it is in British as well.
Yeah?
I think, you know, I mean, a tank is also something on wheels with a gun.
Yeah.
And I think this... Or it's a prison, but I mean... I don't know. I mean, what you know with an aquarium is you're going to get fish, you're not going to get zebras.
Yeah, that's true.
Or civil servants.
No, it's got something to do with water.
And it's got something to do with water, and we're near it, you know, whether... I mean, it would be hard to conduct an interview in a tank.
Yeah.
You'd have to have the fish masks and all the rest of it.
You would have to have really good written notes, and then...
You'd have to have your cue cards, but yeah. And breathing apparatus and more, you know.
But that would be good, wouldn't it?
It could be done.
Yeah.
You'll find, you know, if you have to interview Sting or something, that'll probably be inside the tank. But with me, you just get to sit outside. It's quicker,
I don't think I
cheaper.
would want to sit in a tank with Sting, really.
It's your loss.
The cameraman can have a break.
And while we're on this kind of a roll, this is the most upbeat song I've ever written. It's about death from cancer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yip 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 yip. This old man, he was flesh. They wheeled him in upon a trolley. Virulin, draw a window on his skin now. Virulin, this old man, he was next, blindfolded to face the volley. Virulin, love will come of all our sins. Paint that on my tail fin now. Virulin, this old man persevered. In his mind he lay with Molly. Virulin, cleanse us with your healing grin. Septicemia always wins now. Virulin, come a high, come a low. Blood is precious, yes or no. I believe in surgery, and that's a fact. I believe in making it easy. I believe in surgery, but I never act. I believe in making it easy. Easy, 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 easy. This old man, he was gone, and I was sorry. Virulin, down I spiral, down I spin, force says, sweetheart, I'm your twin now. Virulin, virulin, yip, 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 yip,
Jetzt sind wir immer noch in dem wunderschönen blauen Aquarium mit dem noch schöneren Robyn Hitchcock. Did you understand that?
Ja, hoffentlich.
Hoffentlich.
Und heute habe ich der Nase mit Gas.
Ja.
Is it der Nase?
Yeah, but why a nose with gas?
Well, that's how it is when you've got a cold. It feels like that.
Oh, as if it's
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah. I don't mean I've taken a gas cylinder and pumped my nose up,
some sort of funny drug or
Oh, I've come up with a gassy nose. Good evening, Germany. Tonight, my gassy nose. UK cult figure Hitchcock tells all. It must have been in the late 70s it began to inflate.
Stop it.
Oh, boy.
Stop it.
So there we are.
My next question,
Yeah.
would you like to hear it?
Yes, please,
I'd like
Charlotte,
to talk
that would
about
be great.
your songwriting. And do you think songs or art in general should help people escape from the outside world, or should they sort of reflect the real world, like Bob Dylan once said?
Well, he managed to do both. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember as a teenager escaping into Bob Dylan. But I probably escaped from Bob Dylan's idea of the outside world, and his sort of despair at life probably helped drive me inwards. You know? I think a song can do anything it likes, but it should in some way be good for people's mental health.
Yeah.
The first function is to help the songwriter. So what you're doing is an extension of, all art is an extension of dreaming, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That's why I mistrust art that has a dogma or a polemic or an agenda. And the whole concept that the Soviets had that art must be for a purpose that will
Change
enrich the mind of the
state or
proletariat and
something,
things like that is just a form of dictatorship. Although you could argue that whether you all have to worship Lenin or you all have to worship Michael Jackson, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You know, capitalism and communism both produce their own monoliths, their own totalitarian, everybody in leathers, you know,
Yeah.
like Gap.
Yeah.
I'm just very against everybody doing anything. And It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I never wanted to be a star.
Yes,
is
that's
I don't
one
want,
thing why I don't like Carnival, for example.
Yeah.
That's sort of everybody, the second it starts, it's a party and everybody has to be happy, everybody
Yeah.
is dressed up and
Right.
everybody's drunk. Sort of why? Why don't some people want to get drunk in the middle of the year and get dressed up? That's
Well, then
sort of
they
my-
all sober up. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's sort
no.
of awkward that everybody wants to party at that second Carnival starts.
Right, we're all having fun,
Yeah.
or we're all going to go and see Hannibal, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I mean, there's something very totalitarian about those sorts of things. So I don't really like art that feels obliged to be for some sort of purpose. Stuff just has to come out of you, the way the dreams work. You know, there's this thing called REM, again, to get back to them.
Yes,
rapid
there's the
eye
rapid
movement.
eye
Yeah.
movement. That's when you dream.
Right.
That's when your eyes move when your lids are shut.
That's
isn't
right.
it? Yeah.
Anyway, many years ago, young Michael Stipe was asleep under a tree in Athens, Georgia, when an apple fell on him. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Michael discovers gravity shock. US cult figure. It must have been about the late 70s, I noticed, etc. So, you know, but you need this rapid eye movement, and I think that the whole creative part of the brain is that whether you're writing or singing or drawing or whatever, or just having a nice chat,
Yeah.
it's that part of the brain that's stimulated, and also sleeping. If you don't, it's not enough to lie down flat like a basking manta ray for 8 hours. You've actually got to go under and go into your dreams.
Yeah.
And this, in some way, is good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And I think that creativity is good for your mental health. So to get back to your initial question, the first function of the song is in some way to purge the artist. Then you've got two things. You can it could be an invocation or an exorcism. An invocation is when you're trying to summon something up, like come here, baby, you know, I want to make you mine. Or I wish I had a big plate of cheese.
Yeah.
Or
Wurst.
maybe it'll rain tonight. Or let's have some Wurst, you know.
Yes.
Whatever it is. And the other one is exorcism, which is get out of my life, woman.
Yeah.
Stop rain clouds.
Yeah. I can't stand
George
that.
Bush Jr., leave the White House right now. Thank you. You know. Go back to Florida and put your head in the shark's tank.
Yes.
God knows it's big enough, you know, and that's exorcism. Let's get rid of it, and that's what songs are about. Usually, it's either wishing, praying for something, or trying to get rid of something.
Yeah.
And I find that usually my songs are in that category.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Dylan was probably the best songwriter, the strongest performer that rock has ever produced, but Dylan always complains. Whatever it is, you know, it's a beautiful fish, but it's gonna die. You know, she's a beautiful girl, but she broke my heart.
Yes.
It's a lovely day, but it's gonna rain. You know, he seems to be permanently exorcising. He's got to get rid of it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, as I get older, celebrate things a bit more, you know, while I'm still here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a ghost tapping on the window saying, I would really have liked a Mars bar.
I forgot to do that.
Yes. You know.
I forgot to say sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, anyway, that's my spiel.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you write songs? Because do you start off with sort of a strong image, a phrase, a word, and then build everything round it? Or
Very often
that's
a
how it
title.
starts
Yeah, I Want to Destroy You. Or a song like Kingdom of Love. I mean, those are all Soft Boys era songs,
Yeah.
or Insanely Jealous.
Yeah.
I'd have the title would
And
just
you
sort of
fall in love
write
with that
itself in
word.
letters of gold on my notebook, and I'd think, aha. Even today, you know, I've got songs I haven't written. I'm working on songs like The Price of Money, and I forget what the titles are, but I've got some of them in a notebook back home, and if I know if I've got the title, it won't be that hard to get the song.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's like a baby that's been born for a week and hasn't been given a name. It's very worrying.
Yes.
We'll have to call it Manfred. But what if it's a girl? It's Manfreda. Manfreitag.
Manfreitag. Mandienstag.
Oh yeah, Mandienstag. That sounds like a sort of agent.
Dienstag Line. Line?
Lina, what's Lina?
Line is just a word when you say Robyn, that's a boy's name, and Robeline is sort of a stupid, a girl's form
right,
for
like
it.
Evelina.
Yeah.
Dienstag Lina.
Well, it would be a good name for a poor girl.
It would be a lovely name for a poor girl. Yes, yeah.
And I would like to talk about one of your recent songs called I Something You.
Oh yeah.
Where especially the middle part is wonderful, I think. Where the middle part deals with middle parts. Can you somehow remember how that occurred to you?
What, that bit about in this kind of song, middle bits are so predictable.
Yeah, but they're not something.
Oh, well, probably I got to... It was in C, so then I'm not... It probably either goes to G or F, because those are the two most obvious chords.
Yeah.
I think it's G, but I'm not sure. So I probably thought, oh, God, this really is predictable, and therefore I sang it.
Yeah.
And which kind of got me out of it.
Yeah.
But you can tell if people are listening because they laugh at that bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a sort of test, you know.
Yeah. And it's funny because it works over and over again. Every time you listen. No, it's really true. And you laugh your head off every time.
Oh, really?
Because you start shouting at that point. You know,
yes.
You go,
no, I do.
it's really loud.
And hoot and holler, yeah.
Are there any songs you personally dislike today? Sort
of mine, or you mean
of
like?
Yours.
Probably. I think some of them might be a bit. Some of them might be a bit off, but it's probably best just to forget about them. Otherwise, I don't want. I think I'll just rewrite history and let them disappear gradually. People will just notice suddenly I haven't played it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them didn't quite work for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
The Underwater Moonlight was the first time I began to write halfway decent songs. I sort of became it was a good combination of... It was the last lineup of the Soft Boys, and it was a very... probably the brightest in terms of sound and sort of pizzazz lineup of the Soft Boys. You know, it had a bright, thick guitar sound and a very sort of skippy rhythm section. And I wrote a bunch of quite dark songs, but they made it a lot more palatable, I think.
Yeah.
And then after that, I wrote another sort of 6 rather gloomy albums. And then I did a couple of very morose ones. And then I did one more aggressive one, and then I think I started to mellow out.
Yeah.
The last 2 records are... The trouble is they're probably quite nice, and really who wants music that's quite nice, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I hope they've got some depth to them, but...
Yeah.
You know, technically it should be illegal to make...
Do you realise that you often think something of a song and nobody else gets it? So do fans, for instance, sort of get songs completely wrong, or is it impossible to get a song of yours wrong?
They would only get it wrong if they had a very specific interpretation that didn't agree with mine. But you know, I don't know. Songs just sort of happen. I don't know whether they get them wrong or right. You mean someone would say, I think you're talking about someone who they're standing in a bus stop and someone slaps them around the face with a haddock.
Yeah.
And I say,
then he
no,
loses his toenail and stuff like that. And you say, no, you stupid bastard, it's completely the other thing.
Right, his toenail has stayed with him all the time, and he goes around and he beats up a haddock.
He has a love story with his toenail, that's what it's about.
Oh, yeah, no, I get a bit of that, but the thing is that I think the idea with my songs is that they're a bit like, they're quite pictorial. If you like, they're like videos without having to have a video. So, whereas if you make a rock video, you constantly see the same image every time. Yeah. With my stuff, you can interpret it as you want. There are definitely pictures in there, but my vision isn't going to be the same as yours, and I don't really want to impose things. I want to suggest them. Yeah. Because I think it's more fun for people to get their own pictures from it. They may well see things that I haven't. Yeah.
But that's the thing that you like, because it's not as if people who read too much maybe into art come up and you say, oh God, haven't you got any friends? Stuff like, you know.
No, I think it's good. It's like people who look at clouds and say that cloud looks like a camel, and someone else says, no, it looks like a screen print of Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. They're both wrong. It's actually a cloud. But it's great because the cloud suggests things, and that's what I want my stuff to do, is just, you know, set people's minds wandering. As long as it doesn't inspire them to go and, you know, or worse, you know. Go home and beat up their loved ones, or something, you know. I mean, I think there are things that my stuff wouldn't work for. I wouldn't listen to my record any of my or Soft Boys records while you're eating. Yeah. I don't think they'd be very good for people to have sex to.
That's a good thing. You know what somebody just told me while I was having my makeup on in the channel just now? This girl, makeup artist, said, oh, that's really good because they repeat my show in the middle of the night. And she said, I was having sex with this guy in a hotel and we watched your show from beginning to end, and I sort of said, oh my God, that is disgusting. Because they sort of, you know, they only met, and I just remembered that because you said having sex to Soft Boys records.
Well, I just think it would be
really,
I just think it would be bad for concentration.
Yeah, and it's sort of, I don't record the show for people having sex. I record it for people sort of watching, going, oh yes.
Well, in that way, it's the same thing. Likewise, it's, you know, whether you have stuff, I don't think it's good for have. Well, I mean, you could maybe use the Soft Boy stuff for party music, but you wouldn't put mine on. Yeah. I don't know, I mean, even... Because you're meant to be focusing on it. I think it's always slightly insulting if you produce stuff and it doesn't get your full attention. Yeah. And eating... Because it's synesthesia, that's what's the problem. You know, if you're eating and you're watching something, you're going to confuse them in some way. Yeah. So if you're having sex and watching something, you're really stimulating 2 completely different areas. And I'm not sure it works. I think, you know, driving and listening to music is all right. I think you can you can blend those together.
Because it's very automatic what you're doing. That's why I think.
Yeah.
Because you can sing along with the most difficult songs and stuff, and without being in danger driving.
Right, but I mean, I think even I don't watch TV and eat or anything. I like to focus, because otherwise, in a way, you're eating what you're watching.
Yeah.
You know, so your friends could be eating crisps and watching you talk to me, and they'd get it confused.
It's funny because
they'd feel like they were biting our heads off.
My boyfriend refuses to eat and watch a good video film.
Well,
that's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
And I never understand why. That's it. Oh, you're so intelligent, aren't you?
No, I think that whole thing. I think it's synesthesia. I remember the expression synesthesia. It means the blending of the senses.
Yeah.
I remember having a nasty experience once.
We have to have a break because his arm is falling off. Sorry.
Ah, yeah. When you extinguish the candle, then you have to pay the penalty. The penalty is that you're transported from here by two minotaurs, which you know are human up to the neck, and then they have bull's heads. They have real bull's heads. They're not just wearing bull head masks. They actually become bull from the neck up. And the minotaurs, they have a lot of duct tape, and they swaddle you in it, or gaffer tape if you're watching in England. And you're swaddled in duct tape, and you're carried away by the two minotaurs down an endless series of ducts. And then you're pinpointed just above, about 2,723 feet above sea level. And you are fired out over central London, and then you come down, and it's the reverse of normal gravity. It actually gets slower as you get nearer to the ground. So you run out of momentum about 8 feet above Leicester Square, and everybody thinks that you're a bomb, a thermonuclear device, because we've always been brought up in our folk stories in Britain that the bomb would detonate above ground to achieve maximum devastation. So as they see this thing, which is you, swaddled in duct tape, coming down over central London, people begin to flee. And there's enormous traffic congestion, especially on the A4, but also on some of the other main routes. And like the beginning of the A1 and whatever it's called, Highbury Corner and all that stuff, it gets more and more cluttered, and people are fleeing, and they're starting to tread on each other in their panic, and they're spilling cups of honey, and they're knocking over theodolites and retort stands and trivets and all those sort of things. And a lot of people are blundering through ancient chemical apparatus. And there's stuff that people have got hundreds of people with slides, you know, slides of tissue, things like corroded lungs. They're spilling that in their panic, and they're saying, just one more cup of coffee, Miss Patterson, and then it's getting spilt as well, and they're getting more and more disturbed. And rubber tires, which have never seen the outside of a wheel, they're just cosmetic. They come smashing through the Venetian blinds, and they knock over the paper cups, and they hit the files, and the computers all go blank, and the buildings begin to shake. And they realise there's something wrong underground, so they have a strike underground, and hundreds of passengers are trapped underground as you get closer and closer to the surface, and then just 8 feet above Leicester Square, you stop. I something new as the nights get older. I something new as if you couldn't see. In the best years of my life, at least I haven't got a wife. I something new, you ought not me. I something new, as the dead things moulder in Leicester Square. That's the place to be. After all these ruined years, let me realize your fears. I something new, you ought not me. In this kind of song, middle bits are so predictable, but you came along. You were were not at all predictable. I didn't think you'd be like this. I didn't think you'd be like this. Well, I didn't even think you could be like this, that you'd be like this, that I'd feel like this, but I something you. As the nights get colder and you heat up and you are next to me in the twilight of this world, you are my Dutch, Australian, Hungarian, Jewish girl. I something you. You are not me. I something you. You something me.
I'm in Köln with Robyn Hitchcock, and my boyfriend has two of most favorite records of you. That is, I Often Dream of Trains and I.
Oh, right.
What would you say, sort of, what do these two records represent, sort of, your state of mind in the earlier days?
Yeah, they represent my state of mind in sort of like 83 and 88, 9, respectively.
Yeah, but what does it mean, sort of, career-wise?
Oh, well,
records?
what I mean is that every so often I just have to do something on my own and get rid of everybody. I mean, I usually find pretty good people to work with.
Yeah.
But inevitably, the chemistry changes. You know how, like, if there's a group of people, every time you add or subtract somebody...
Yeah. The chemical stuff changes,
and my songs, or the arrangements and performances of my songs, the records, change very drastically according to who's on them.
Yeah.
And every so often I need to just kind of take all the outside influences away and produce a record completely by myself. And I think those are probably my most honest records because they are not done in any way by committee. They probably have even less commercial appeal than the other records.
Yeah.
And they don't have some of the great hook lines that other players have put in, you know.
Yeah.
Bass players particularly over the years have put in some great hook lines and things, but there's a purity to them that I like. I think they're, I mean, but it sounds kind of egotistical because it's, you know, it's like saying I just want to hear me.
Yes. No.
But I did listen to I the other day and I thought it was pretty good. I hadn't heard it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Trains is...
But it is sort of...
It's quite good as well,
How would you say, not dark or something, but sort of...
Somber.
Grim?
I think somber is the word.
Yeah, somber?
Grim is more like the wall of a factory in a howling gale, or somebody sliding down the outside of an iron ship with their fingernails, or you know, whatever, you know, Dusseldorf on a wet January afternoon or something with a mouthful of ice cubes.
Yeah.
But I would say it was more somber. It's kind of dark, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably... But my stuff usually is quite dark, really. And without other musicians, that's its natural level. Occasionally it's funny, mostly it's dark.
Yeah.
The I record was made in a particularly sort of heavy period of my life.
Yeah.
I was managing to break up with two people at once, and I was terribly confused about an awful lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was also sort of I was becoming quite successful on the American alternative scene.
That would be my next question.
But I'm glad, because I managed to do that thing that John Lennon used to say, that, you know, he wanted to make records like newspapers, that you felt something, you wrote it down and you put it out.
Yeah.
And nearly all the songs on I were written and recorded quite fast. And so there's quite a direct...
in 2 days or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And recorded.
Some of them. And so it must be fairly honest. Sometimes there are songs where I'm actually singing about some experience from 20 years ago, and it's taken me 20 years to actually be able to process that experience. I was processing my feelings very fast.
Yeah.
Trains was more of a dreamy record, being disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
And is probably easier to take. I is a bit more naked. There's fewer overdubs.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of that, you know.
Yeah.
And again, they're different. It's a very different feel from something like Underwater Moonlight.
Definitely, yeah. And I would like to talk about America now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always found it very funny that you were always more successful in America, you could say. Why do you think, do Americans sort of refer to your music stronger?
Well, the sun always sets in the west, you know, so you always wind up there.
Yeah.
I think it's just because in the early 80s, when the Soft Boys was defunct, and then even I stopped making music for a year or two, and I was writing lyrics for Captain Sensible and doing odd jobs, and I wasn't doing gigs or anything.
Yeah.
So I essentially vanished, and we'd never had a very high profile. These records started turning up in the States, and people didn't really know whether we existed or not. They thought, well, this sounds good, but what is it, and who are they, and you know, who is this Hitchcock guy, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And this cult built up around the Soft Boys and me, my first two solo albums. And then when I sort of put Off and Dream of Trains out in '84 and then started doing a few gigs in Britain,
Yeah.
suddenly all these people were ringing up from the States going, wow, do you want to come over here and do gigs? Hey, we can release your record. And my career's been based there ever since. But in other words, there was that element of mystery about them. And I think it really took root in America more than anywhere else. I mean, there must have been a few places in Germany and France and Italy where people were finding these records.
Yeah.
But it might be just actually, this is almost like talking about weather conditions. A lot of copies of...
It's so difficult to understand why certain countries develop a great love for something and others don't. It's just sort of...
I think it actually might be as simple as the fact that I know Underwater Moonlight, when it was shipped out, they sold about 10,000 copies, and 7,000 were exported to the United States.
Yeah.
And my solo album probably sold fewer, but maybe of the 6,000 that sold, 4,000 went to America.
Yeah.
So somebody was importing this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I know Georgia, for instance. Peter Buck used to work in a record shop in Athens, and he told me that he discovered my stuff because he was selling it. I've met a lot of people. Scott McCoy said the same thing, and a lot of people I meet in the States who are now in their late 30s or whatever, early 40s, say, hey man, I used to work in a record shop, we used to get your record in, then I formed a band. So it just, somebody decided to ship this stuff over to the States.
Yeah. And then others decided to sell it.
Yeah, and you know, they might have decided to ship it to Dusseldorf, but they didn't, or to Florence, or you know, whatever, or to Trondheim, but they didn't, or not in very large quantities. They decided to ship it to the States, and you know, maybe some guy with a pen and a book who said, "Well, I think we'll send these to Atlanta, Georgia, because they won't know what to do with them there. They won't ask for their money back, and there's these people in Boston. They won't complain. We'll give them 1,000."
Yeah.
And that was his arbitrary decision. I assume it was a him.
Yeah.
And so the American youth of a certain kind of age and time was saturated in my stuff, our stuff, and they didn't know whether we existed or not, you know.
You were made up.
So they thought, or you know, or you know, Sid Barrett who'd come back in drag or something like that. They didn't know.
Yeah.
So it all contributed to some element of mystery, and I've basically lived off that ever since. I live in Britain and I work in the States.
Yeah.
I commute.
Hopping.
Yeah.
Pendler.
Hopping like a frog. What's that?
Pendler is when you live outside and work in town. You're a pendler.
Pendler. I like a pendulum.
Backwards and forwards.
Like a pendulum, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And now...
Ich bin doch ein Pendler.
Genau.
Oh, no.
Du bist und siehst aus wie ein Pendler. Nein.
Ja.
Nein.
Oh, no? Nein? No, no.
That was an insult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I didn't mean it.
You have to play that one back on the video.
No, I said you look like a pendler, but that's a stupid insult. Now that Underwater Moonlight is being re-released again, what are sort of the near future plans? Are you going to tour all over Europe, or?
Well, we as usual, we go where we're asked.
Yes.
I mean, I go where I'm asked solo, and the Soft Boys, who have now mysteriously reconstituted, are... I know we've got a big American tour coming up.
Yeah.
We've got a British tour. There's offers coming in
America
from Spain.
First?
Yeah, that's based around the fact that we wanted to do the South by Southwest Festival.
Yeah.
Then we've got Britain, and then I think there's some offers from Spain and Italy and stuff. So, you know, we come to Germany if somebody offers us. I suspect
this year probably.
Probably later in the year.
Yeah.
I think
In
Italy
the
and
summer.
Germany would be later.
Yeah.
We've got to have a break for the summer, but yeah, we could be all over the place.
Super. So everybody has to invite you quickly if you're going where you're wanted.
You have to ring our agent.
Writen Sie letters. Inviten Sie. Yes. And this is the final question already. Will there be any
Charlotte.
more solo stuff in the near future of yours?
Well, my next album is actually a book. I've been working on this novel for about
Yes, I know.
5, 6, 7 years. Oh, you know, right.
Yes,
okay.
yes. And it's finished.
Well, it needs another draft.
Okay.
And it's really hard getting down to writing. So actually the Soft Boys has taken up the last 3 months. So actually in May or something, I'm hoping to have a couple of months to finish the novel.
Yeah.
So that's my next thing.
Would you
this
like
book.
saying something about the novel, or is it all secret?
No, it's a paradox. By the end of the novel, the beginning couldn't have happened.
Okay.
So it's been quite difficult to write.
It'll
because at the
drive
end of it,
people mad.
well, it's driven me mad writing it.
Okay, good.
But it'll be good when I finally finish it. But
Okay.
you know, in the meantime, we've got the Soft Boys, and then if I make it back in one piece, I'll definitely
So
finish it.
that's why I always hate asking sort of future questions when there is a reunion. So it's stupid asking, will there be solo stuff, or when is the book
there will
coming
be.
out?
I mean,
I
we're
don't
all
really like asking that.
No, we're all going. We all have our own lives. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is that we are not shackled together. We're not now starting the Soft Boys PLC, and we're all
Living in a bus.
living in a bus or anything. You know, we're going to do this, but I think it will last longer if we're not under intense pressure to be with each other all the time.
In a healthy way.
In a healthy
so
way.
To say.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so we can do it for a month or two a year or something.
Yeah.
And if it goes well, hopefully do some more recording. But you know, when young people hunt in packs, it's natural, especially for boys, I think. I don't know if
Yeah.
you found that with being a girl, but it seems like boys seem to hunt in packs, and then over 30 it's a bit dodgy, over 40 it's very suspicious, and over 50 it should be illegal. And you know, we're all heading for 50, so we want otherwise we're going to have to get a permit.
Yeah. The permit
So-
by the British state.
Oh,
Queen.
we have to get
By the
one
Queen.
issued by the Queen, yeah.
Yes.
By appointment of Her Majesty the Queen.
Okay.
Or Prince William,
Yeah.
who's
Okay.
going to be the next Queen.
We're done then. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlotte. It's been wonderful. I look forward to seeing a dodgy Spanish video of this
Spanish
interview.
copy, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
With sort of krüssel, no?
Krüssel. Oh, yeah, yeah.
What's
yeah.
the English word for krüssel?
You mean...
Yes, is
I
that
think
the
it's
English
phonetic. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a...
That's it.
I don't think there's a real... I don't think it's in the dictionary.
No, well, it should be.
Well, I think we should all be in the dictionary.
Yes.
Okay, good night, universe.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Charlotte. That's great.
I gotta go, but it won't be so. I don't be back again. I gotta leave, but I don't believe we won't be back no, no, no. Everything's inside another. No, 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 no. All right, yeah. I gotta walk, but I'm gonna put my fork next to your spoon. I gotta split. It's a quaint old-fashioned way to leave the room. Smell them burning leaves, everyone beside another. No, 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 no. All right, yeah. Whatever you pray to, that's where you belong. I'm gonna get mine someday. I'm gonna get mine. I gotta laugh, but there's half of me that wants to sit and cry. I've got to split. It's a quaint old-fashioned way to say goodbye. Goodbye. What's your mother for? Not a launch pad for your father. No, 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 no. All right, yeah.